Bethnal Green, E1, E2 and E3. The poorest district of London in Victorian times, though 2 centuries earlier it was a pleasant country area attracting wealthy residents. The name, thought to mean Blider's Corner, is of Saxon origin, and the Bishop of London, who was Lord of the Manor of Stepney, which then included Bethnal Green, had a residence where the London Chest Hospital now stands. In the Bishop's Wood nearby, the Aldermen and Sheriffs of London once spent May Day in the reign of Henry VI. The legend of the blind beggar of Bethnal Green may have originated about this time. The centre of the village was the Green, the present-day Bethnal Green Gardens. A large mansion called Kirby's Castle was built here in 1570. It belonged to Sir William Ryder, Deputy Master of Trinity House. Pepys kept his diary here during the Great Fire. It later became the Bethnal House Lunatic Asylum. The urban invasion from the south-western corner began towards the end of the 17th century, with the spread of the silk weaving industry from Spitalfields. When Bethnal Green was made a separate parish from Stepney in 1743, it was claimed that the hamlet contains above 18,000 houses, and it computed to have more than 15,000 inhabitants, consisting of weavers, dyers and other dependents, crowded into narrow streets and courts. 3 or 4 families in a household. In 1777, John Wesley recorded in his journal,
"I began visiting those of our society who lived in Bethnal Green. Many of those I found in such poverty as few can conceive without seeing it."
By 1840, it was estimated that 6 times as many looms were employed in Bethnal Green as in the former weaving centres of Spitalfields and Mile End, Newtown. The decline of the industry at this time aggravated distress in the area, although other industries soon developed in its place. These were also based on the home and the small workshop, and included furniture, clothes, boot and shoe manufacture. In 1889, Charles Booth found that almost 45% of the population lived below subsistence level, the highest population in London. The Jago district around Old Nichols Street was particularly notorious for crime and poverty. The Victorians introduced several improvements intended to help the area. The Bishop's Wood, later known as Bonnefield's, was purchased by the Crown and laid out as Victoria Park in the 1840s. Angela Burdett Coutts erected a drinking fountain in the park, a block of flats, Columbia Square and Columbia Market. The East London branch of the Victoria and Albert Museum, now called the Bethnal Green Museum of Childhood, was opened in 1872. Oxford House, a university settlement, was established in 1884, the same year as Toynbee Hall. Bethnal Green was transformed during the 20th century by slum clearance, the building of large council estates, the loss of most of its industries and the decline of its population from the peak of about 130,000 in 1901 to about 1/3 of this number by the 1960s. The Bethnal Green Garden Conservation Area incorporates most of the older buildings left and is the only part to retain something of the former village atmosphere. The Columbia Road Flower Market has become something of an institution and extends into Azworth Street and Ravenscross Street, where numerous cafes and small shops have sprung up to take advantage of the Sunday crowds. Bethnal Green is famous as the birthplace and early home of Barbara Windsor, star of the Carry On films and of the television soap opera EastEnders. It was also the stamping ground of East London gangland bosses Ronnie and Reggie Kray, the Kray twins. The Metropolitan Borough of Bethnal Green, created in 1900, has been part of the London Borough of Tower Hamlets since 1965.